Guys, welcome back to the course. Now that we have completed the second section of about us, let's go to the third section. So our third section as per the layout is a services section. So in this section what I'm trying to do is that I'm going to have like four cards. Each card will have like an image, a small heading and some text, and we will have a little bit of heading, and we will try to have a background color that is different from the top. So because here we have given a, it's an image, then we got a white background, and then if I repeat a white background, then it will be too monotonous. Let's try to split this section from the next section, so a different color would basically help us do that. All right, let's get coding. Perfect. Let's go to the index. I'm just going to close this section, so we don't have a disturbance there, and let's go create the section. All right, I got the section, and then let's create the heading, div class section title. We're gonna call this one basically services. Close it. Good. Perfect. Now let's have a div and another div close to it. Now let us basically change the background. Like I said, I want to make it a slightly different color. So yeah, first thing is that we're gonna give a little spacing. I'm gonna show the color first. I'm gonna give it BG green. I'm gonna give a background color of green. Okay, so let's go ahead and where is it? This is a general. We can use it again and again. So I'm gonna give it in the general section. I'm gonna make it BG green. We'll use the same green that we are using on the logo, this one, and on the buttons. So I will find that green. I think action button. This is the green. I won't be using this hex code because it gives 100% transparency. I'll go here and I'll convert it. Once I convert, I will get an RGBA code for it. So let's use that. So background color RGBA code. I'll tell you why. So if I go here, you see this is too green, like really dark green. I don't need this dark. So this last value, it is 100% at the moment. I make it 50%. It makes it a little more lighter. You see, that's why I wanted it in RGBA. Now that is done, let's put some spacing, between the two sections. We put them perfect. We got some spacing after that. And for the title, let's put our normal py5. Perfect. That is also done. Now here, oh yeah, I forgot. I was thinking, why is it small? It should be H2. Yeah, now it looks proper. Now since it is on a green background, I don't want it like black. I want to change the color. So let's go only for this section. So I'm going to call this services CSS. Perfect. And I'm gonna call the section title, inside of which, no, actually I'm gonna call, this is not common, so it's only for this one. So I'm gonna call it services, and I'm gonna call it H2. Perfect. And let's call this H2 services. I didn't put the code here, so I'm inside the services section. I'm calling this H2. All right, and I'm gonna make the color as white. Perfect. Now we have a white heading. Now what we want is, now 4 cards is what we are trying to do, right? Let's get some markup for that. So each card I am going to have a div for that. Perfect. Now I'm gonna have 2 divs as parent. I'll tell you why I'm doing this at later stage. All right, let's have an image first. Image src. Let's get some images actually. So I'm going to go here, and this is my images folder. I'm gonna go here. Since I'm gonna have 4 images related to one section, I will put them inside a folder, so I have it a little bit organized. I'm gonna call the folder services. I'm gonna get all 4 images and put it there. So I've got services, and inside services 4 images. Let's go to here, imgs services 1.jpg. Perfect. So this is a let's have what do you call them, alt tag, and call it service1, and then underneath we are going to have an h3. Let's call this service1, and then we're going to have some paragraph, whatever it is related to that services. Let's copy that and put it there. Perfect. Let's close this div, and let's close this second div. Good. Now this is the div where we're gonna design the class. Okay, so I'm gonna name it card. So if we go here onto our this one, so you see that we have got one card. All right, now on the top, like I said, what I want is that in this, let's say a tablet screen which is this small, I want two cards side by side and two cards underneath. On a bigger screen like a computer screen, I need four cards side by side. So we have to create a setup like that. So let's start with the small. If I want to have two cards side by side, then I should have each card at 50% width, correct? That's what we are trying to achieve now. Now I'm gonna go here and call this W50, meaning I want a 50% width. Alright, let's go ahead and do the styling for these things. So the first thing we have to do is that let's go here. I'm gonna call the services. I'm gonna call the card, and I'm gonna call the image, and then I'm gonna say this image width has to be 100% of the container. You know, that's important. I did that. Yep, now it looks decent. The second part I want to do is I'm gonna do some styling for the card itself. I need the background color to be white, and I need the what do you call, I'll come to the border radius later together actually. So this is fine. So I've got it in white color here a little bit. Okay, now the other thing that I want to do is put four cards side by side. So I'm gonna copy this, I'm gonna repeat it here. So this time the images is going to be 2, service number is also going to be 2. I'm going to change it here. So now we have two services side by side, but they are coming one after another. I want it side by side. So what we have to do, so I'm going to go here class and call it MD flex. Perfect. Now let's get some media query in place. So at media, minimum width is not 990. We are gonna go with a medium screen, right? So we're gonna go to 640 pixels. Then I'm gonna call it okay. Before we do that, I think, yeah, it's already in effect. I'll tell you, I was just about to go type the class for this, but we have already done MD flex before for our previous section, right? So that is still, you know, eligible, so we don't have to repeat the code. So as you can see, it has given us side by side two cards. Now if I make it a bigger screen, it's still occupying two cards. So what I want to do now is actually, instead of having two cards, let's have all four cards. So let's go here and make it 4. So I'm gonna make it 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Perfect. So on a really big screen, I am seeing 4 cards side by side, very congested. No, actually on a big screen I'm seeing the 4 by 4 congested. On this screen I actually didn't want 4, I wanted only 2, which means that the other 2 I want to flow to the bottom. So let's get that in place. For that, what we have to do is that we have to go to this one here, and I'm gonna write services, because this is applicable only to the services class, and then I'm gonna call the MD flex class, and then I'm gonna put a flex direction row, and I'm gonna put flex wrap as a wrap. Perfect. Now what this would do is, it is putting the text one below the other. All right, now let's give the services W50, you know, the class that we did for. Let's give this width of 50%, actually 48%, because I want to give some spacing, so I'll use the other 2% for the spacing. So I'm gonna go padding, and I'm gonna put it rem. So I've got services. As you can see, now we have it here like this. So how did this happen? So we went into we created a media query, we call the MD flex, and we said flex direction and flex wrap. This will basically make sure that anything that is beyond, anything that is extra will flow to the bottom. All right, if this wasn't there, what would have happened? The four classes would stay like this. We don't want it like that. We want only two here and the two bottom. That's why we put this. So now we have it like this. Now as you can see, on the left side I have less spacing, on the right side I have too much spacing. So let's fix that by here, justify content, and I'm going to make it center. So now we have equal spacing on the left and on the right. This is on a tablet screen. Let's go to a bigger screen. On the bigger screen also, what I'm getting is side by side. Actually, in the bigger screen I said I want all four in the same line. So what we have to do is we have to go here, and instead of 640, let's go to the bigger screen size, which is 992. I'm gonna copy whatever I have done here. Alright, so this is what is basically breaking them down, right? So I'll unset what I have done it. Unset means I'm gonna remove the styling that I've applied in the previous breakpoint. So when I remove the styling, I get it like this. This is perfect. On a tablet screen I have 2 by 2. On a larger screen I have got all four in the same line. This is exactly what I want. Now let's go to the mobile and see what is happening. So here you see I don't have much of a spacing problem between the cards on both iPad and this one. Let me go to mobile. In the mobile, however, you can see that I have got a spacing problem because this is going from edge to edge. Alright, in the previous section we solved the spacing problem by giving it a container. Alright, we went and we gave it a container class at 90% on the whole thing. We don't want to do it here. You know why? Imagine I give a container class. What happens? The spacing problem is fixed, but the problem is that the green is also getting cut off. You see, in a little larger screen it will look ugly. See, the green is only half. I don't want that. I want the green to stretch all the way through. So I'm not going to give a container class. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to give a margin only for mobile screens. Alright, a margin only for mobile screens. How to do that? So I'm going to go here, and you see here I am telling that a media query, it will start from a minimum width of 640 pixels. How about I'm gonna go here and give a media query that is for small screens, but I don't want this media query to come beyond the medium screen, because in the medium screen I already have enough margin. If so, for example, if I just go here and say, let's say services W50, that's a class, right? I say that a margin of 2 rem. What will happen? See, I'm getting more margin. I don't need all this extra margin. I want this only for mobile. In the mobile I got the margin that I'm looking for. I want only this one only for mobile. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it inside this media query that basically says that this margin should be applied from only until a maximum width of 640. So it is applied here. The moment it hits 640, it is gone. That margin is gone. Actually now it is 768, but if you go to 640, I can't change it. If I go to responsive 640, see, from the 641 onwards it is not there. So that's what we have done. Hope that section is clear. So now we have got everything ready. Now the other thing that I want to take your attention to is, let's just zoom in a little bit. Okay, here you see in these services, first of all, it doesn't look great like this. I want to make this edges round, so it looks a little more nicer. So let's go to the card and let's give it or what you call border radius. I'm gonna give a border radius of 2 rem. So I've got a border radius here, but I'm not able to see it here because this image is on top of the card. So let's give a border radius for the image as well, but in this time I want the border radius See here I got the border radius for bottom also. I don't need that. I only need it for the top. So I think I can put a top here. You think it's gonna work? No, that's not gonna work. So for the image to give a border radius, what I can do is that instead of giving it like this, I can just give it like this. I'm gonna make it, instead of 1 rem, this is top left, 1 rem, this is top right, but I want 0 for bottom and 0 for bottom left and bottom right. So what did you do? I got this little curvature here, I got nothing here, I got this here. Perfect. This is all really nice. Now I want to give some box shadow, because it would look really nice this way. It is very flat, so I'm gonna give it here. It is a little flat. I want to give some border radius for the, not border radius, basically shadow. I'm gonna make it all. Alright, now the other thing is that when I hover it, I want, perfect, I'm gonna go make it card hover. I'm gonna give a box shadow of 0, 8 pixel, 16 pixel, 0, and a color. Perfect. Now if I refresh, what is happening now, I'm gonna just close this. So if you see, when I'm hovering on top of these things, I'm getting a little bit of shadow. So this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted some shadow when I hover on this image. Now one thing I notice is that there is way too much, there is no space between all of this. So what I want to give is that I want to give us a little spacing between this card before the text comes in. So here is where I have it. So I'm going to give a p, like a padding on the x-axis of 2 rem and a padding on the y-axis of 1 rem. I don't think we have created these classes, so let's just go ahead and create it. Going to go here. We only have created padding, I think 5 unit. Yeah, let's go ahead. Oh, px1 is, we have created px1. What did we ask? Oh, we are asking px2, that's why. Okay, so let's create px2. So we are going to give some padding on the left and the right. Instead of 0.25, let's double it to 0.5 rem. Perfect. You see we got some padding here on the left and on the right. Now on the top and this one, top and the bottom, we need 1 unit of padding. So this would going to be 0.25, 0.25. So we have some spacing here and here as well. Now I think we have to increase this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my card and give it a text align of center. Alright, this looks much better, so it's not falling out. We have some spacing and everything looks really good. So I think our section is basically done. Let's just go and inspect it. So this is how it is going to look on a mobile screen. So we have really nice 4 cards coming one after one. Great. On a tablet screen we have 2 cards side by side, 2 cards side by side. Great. On a bigger screen, like a desktop or a bigger tablet or something, we have got 4 cards side by side. So that is pretty much it. This is our section. We are done with services section. Now let's get to the next section.